Okay, cool. Welcome back, everybody. Back to the podcast. We Tech Those. I'm going to get to some real things. Back with my crew here, Amanda, Rick, and Zach. I didn't
Nope.
pause. I forgot your name. I promise.
I ain't buying that shit. You forget every week.
I'm getting old. Okay, so today's topic, guys, we're talking about preferences, specifically men's preferences. I got a video for you guys. Want to see, watch, and we're going to talk about it. Okay. Cool. So this is from a podcast called, I believe, Whatever. I think that's the name of it. I've seen a lot of their clips online. If you've seen anything resulting with any kind of manosphere stuff or red pill stuff, you've seen their clips very recently. You've been on YouTube at all. A lot of reels. Let me show you one of these clips.
That might be preventing someone like you from attaining your dream girl is you have this block where you think so much about body count, so much about her being a high value woman.
So you're saying I'm going in with what? Too much expectations?
I don't even think it's expectations. I think it's judgment. A little like too much judgment instead of taking into account all these other things. You're focused on these like minuscule things and you're
minuscule.
I mean, you're just
count?
you're not taking, you're just doing body count. That's like so physical. Like, you're not.
You're focused too much on the past too. You're not really focused as much.
Here's what's so funny to me. I think women are unaccustomed to hearing men communicate and articulate their preferences, standards, and boundaries. Women are the queens of going for exactly what they want. You guys have laundry lists of criteria that a guy needs to meet.
Okay.
Are you struggling to
Stop that.
I'm like,
It's too real. It's too real.
I'm like, what'd she have to say though?
I'll find out later. Okay, so there's the question there. As far as men's preferences, home dueling lost. What? Minuscule? I guess it opens up a good question though. First, I mean, are guys allowed to have preferences?
Yes. Bam.
Right? That makes sense.
I feel like anybody should be able to have preferences. Come on now.
Right? Hold on. They didn't say anything. Hold on. I can't hear her. She cut her mic off.
I put myself on mute because the dog was barking. I said everyone is allowed to have preferences.
Oh,
okay. That's right.
Okay. Clean it up. Had to clean it up.
Yeah. She probably had herself on mute. She was like, hell no. They don't get anything. They should be lucky.
Oh, my God.
But then with that being said, if we are allowed to have preferences, I mean, is there any kind of limit to those preferences? You see what the young ladies in the clip were saying. They were kind of critiquing the specific preferences that a good majority of men have, that being mainly body count. Is that an issue? What do you think about that, of men having the preference of a woman's body count being lower? Is that problematic?
I feel like to some dudes it is. For me, I don't ask. I don't care to know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
For me, it's in the past, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. Like, I don't really ask because like it shouldn't be super relevant. I feel like for me at least, you should make your decision on other margins, not somebody's sexual history. Like, you know, I feel like certain people have different past experiences than what you have, and that should be okay. Like, you should understand that the person that you're going to be dating or seeing is like going to have a different previous history than you do. You can't expect somebody to have, you know, a set standard of previous history because that's not the human experience. Everybody's got something different.
That's all good and dandy. But let's say your girl has 130 bodies.
I won't ever know. I won't ask.
Let's say you find out. Let's say one of her. Hold on a second. Just gonna test this theory.
Right.
Let's say one of her 130 bodies, like, hey, what's up, Samantha? What's good with you? Like, hey, remember when we did that thing? Let's say you were to come across this information, so like, would it matter then, or does it not matter at all? That's the difference.
I'm not gonna lie. if I heard like 100 plus, I probably would be like,
They'd be like, she for the streets.
Would you? Right. So I definitely understand what you're saying, Rick. That you wouldn't ask. I mean, don't ask until if you don't know. It's basically like, does it even exist, type of thing, right? But if it should come up, I mean, I guess you'll still feel some type of way about it. But Amanda, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, they might have had a past. Like they might have been a hoe in high school or something. They might have been like a porn star or a stripper, prostitute, something, and now they've changed their ways. But yeah, I don't think you can judge somebody based off their past. I mean, it would make me feel some kind of way if I found out my partner was with 100-something people. Like that would always be in the back of my mind, but it's not something where I would be like, oh no, I can't be with this person, I can't date this person, whatever.
Yeah.
What if you found like your soulmate or like the person that you get along with the most in the world, and you can't find nobody else like that, but that's the one issue, their body count? Are you just going to walk away from them?
I would just be like, don't ever tell me I'm your best unless we do a lie detector test.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of going to say is like, is the root of this kind of a comparison is the thief of joy type of thing? Like you just compare yourself to all of that person's previous partners and like, you don't like it because you don't know where you fall. Because I feel like that might just be at the root of it. I
think it's a common dude thing, yeah.
Like an insecurity type thing of like, oh, you want to be her best partner, but you just don't know.
Interesting. Interesting. Could it be that? Oh, hey, hey. There goes the neighborhood.
I might keep going. Like I'm still in the D&D session, so.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, mute yourself.
They tell me I gotta read.
He listened.
Yeah.
Is he still there? He disconnected?
I don't know.
I think he froze. I think his internet messed up.
Oh, okay, so
it just looks funny how he's frozen.
They blasted. Essentially, the point you bring up, it's somebody, Rick, Zach, you said insecurities. You said they feel like it's a part of insecurity.
Yeah.
And I think that from that aspect, I guess that would be insecurity. I think the way the guy in the video he would have said it. I haven't seen the whole entire podcast. It's more would be more about one is about now I think I was talking to Rick about this before. How I didn't put it into words. I said it to Rick. Now I can't repeat it. Basically, it's more about the thought that about how it's perceived. Basically, and that's how I viewed the way Rick. Basically, it's like you wouldn't ask. Basically, like don't ask, don't tell type of thing. It's kind of how the way you're perceived. Basically, do people who. If you're with somebody who people perceive to be out everywhere, basically, it kind of makes it seem like you getting with her was not like anything to be branded as an accomplishment type of thing. You just happen to be the next man up, basically.
Yeah, but shouldn't that still be an accomplishment to you because you wanted to pursue that person and you actually got with her? So, like, no matter what, like, you should still consider it like you went out there and like you achieved what you wanted to do, which was get with her.
Yeah, I was going to say something pretty similar to what you said, Zach. Knowing that somebody I'm with has been with so many people and they've had all these experiences and stuff, that does make me feel kind of insecure. But at the end of the day, I think, well, they're with me. They chose to be with me and things are good with us. So I don't need to worry about what happened in the past.
Interesting. Well, that brings up, and people, it's like the third or fourth time I've heard you guys say this, that like basically not worried about the past. Some of the past does matter.
Well, yes.
Right. So it's like if this person, what kind of interactions were they having? I mean, they had 100 partners. You want to have them get checked, basically, just in case. You know what I'm saying? It would be clean. But the other aspect of it is it's kind of like a proclivity to that lifestyle type of thing. I would think just the same way if a dude had 20, 30, 40 bodies, basically, you would think he's more promiscuous. Him being in a relationship, I mean, would you be surprised if that person cheated? I mean, obviously you'd be surprised, but it's like, that type of thing could go into it as well. Someone who's less promiscuous, just theoretically, I don't even know the science behind it, but you would think, without even going deep into it, that person would be less likely to commit, basically. Is that not something that we can see?
That is the difference between me and my girlfriend.
You got 100 bodies?
No, not 100.
Oh, damn, bro!
I have enough, but still not 100.
Hey, do you see that smug look he just gave?
Right?
He's like, I'm not discussing numbers.
All I'm saying is,
hotel.
I have a body count, but my girl doesn't though. But we've been together like this whole time, and it really hasn't even been that big of an issue, like for any of it in any of that. So it's like overall, I'm like the main reason, like me and her, we've talked about this before, why we're in a relationship together. It's like it's not because we need something from each other. We add on to what we already have. Like even in that aspect, for people being promiscuous and stuff like that, like we're still perfectly fine with that aspect too, because she's still learning, but it's A-okay. Like I'm perfectly fine with that. I am A-okay with that. Do I see other people outside of our relationship like that? No. Why? Because this is who I'm with. I have nobody else to really try to talk to like that. Even though I know there are some guys that will talk to other women while they're in a relationship with a girl that doesn't have that much experience.
Well, that was weird.
What?
His mouth was moving, but not with the sound.
You were talking, but you were
delay was wild.
I'm sure the video later will hopefully clear that up. But
that was just weird.
We're low budgeted. We take those.
Yeah, guys.
It was just insane because I'm watching his cam as he's talking. I was like, what the?
Well, I do agree with Joel, like the whole you're with who you're with thing. And I do agree that in the back of my mind with somebody like that, I would always think that what if they cheat on me or what are they doing right now? Stuff like that. But I mean, you have to trust the person you're with. And if they decide to cheat, then oh well, they were going to cheat anyways, whether they were promiscuous or not, whether they had a high body count or not.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The other thing I want to point out, what makes me think it's more about, but the perception, how you perceive it. I mean, I think you guys correct me if I'm wrong. You would have you'd be more worried about the situation if your girl had an OnlyFans account and she was getting naked on there, as opposed to actually having a body count that no one else knew about. Would that
she making money?
Us?
I'm like, it depends on what she's doing. If she's trying to have other dudes with her, hold up, that's a different story.
Butt cheeks out. Silhouette challenge. It's a raw. That's what I'm talking about. Would you be okay with your girl doing that? Like you had a choice between that and your girl with 100 bodies, but nobody knew.
I could forget about a lot of things when I'm shifting a Lamborghini, bro. I don't know.
It's funny because I've heard a lot of guys say that, like, if their girl was on OnlyFans or a stripper or whatever, as long as they were making good money, they wouldn't care. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I guess it kind of depends. For some people, like it is more about the money, but in all seriousness, I feel like for me, it would be an issue because it's more like that part, like that intimacy and everything, like that's a special part of what makes a relationship. And so it's nice when like that's only between you and your partner. When you start sharing it with the world, it's like, I don't know, it kind of blurs that line of like, where is your own personal intimacy versus like what she already gives to other men. So I feel like it would be difficult in all seriousness to like actually have that go down and be like completely okay with it.
What you say, Rick? Quiet over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. You literally posted something. I was reading it.
Focus.
I'm sorry. Squirrel.
Damn.
What'd you say, Rick?
Well, what you think?
I'm not gonna lie. I
Only
completely
fans are
missed the
known.
whole thing.
Oh.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was reading what you posted. I was like, oh, let me read this.
So yeah, my point about I feel like it's more about the just being aware of it, other people being aware of it, how you're perceived, and the visual embarrassment type of thing, as opposed to the actual situation happening. Kind of like you ever hear about like the difference between Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift?
What's the difference?
So a lot of people would perceive Miley Cyrus to be a hoe, basically. Even though she'd been married with the same guy for the last 7-8 years, or for a majority of her life, even though based on what she showed in the public, her shows and things like that, people would say that Miley Cyrus was a hoe, as opposed to Taylor Swift, who's like America's darling. She's had like 8 or 9 different boyfriends.
Well,
Right.
I think part of it too is Miley Cyrus actually wants to be seen that way.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. So again, the situation, if a girl has OnlyFans, I mean, sure, she wants to be seen that way. Is what I was making the connection. As opposed to a girl who actually does these things, in the street, but no one knows about it. There's the one thing I've encountered some women who are like secret freaks. Basically, they understood that like dudes might be put off by this. The guys they want specifically might be put off by some of their things being out there, basically, or them being perceived this way, basically.
That's the lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. That's what it is. Right there,
right. So I think I give that more credence to that as opposed. Now, there's some dudes literally want a girl with lower body count. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not here. This is the whole point of this conversation for me. I'm not really here to judge people's preferences. I mean, however you make it harder for you to find somebody to live the rest of your life with, that's on you, basically.
That's what I was thinking at the very beginning of the podcast.
Right.
If you want to have more preferences added to your list, then you're just limiting yourself more.
Right. But I think in this podcast, I guess the guy was responding to is that a lot of girls or a lot of guys are kind of made to feel that their preferences, they shouldn't matter, basically. You see what I'm saying?
So probably we just accept what it already is and just call it a day.
Well, what I got from it is that women have a long list of preferences, but almost like it's negative for a dude to have preferences.
Right, almost.
Yeah,
or
it's like you kind of
insecure.
It's kind of like, what is it? Most, like, when you see most posts, like even posts or memes and stuff like that, like most of them are put out there saying like, oh, a man has to have this, has to have this, has to have this. And it's like a man for a woman is like, are you cool? Are we good? Like, that's just like literally what it is. We got to just accept it. Cool? Accept whatever they already have. Body count, doesn't matter what it is. We have to accept them for whatever they've already done. Or just, that's it. Like, they can bring nothing to the table and we still got to be like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
I don't think that's true.
No, that's
some of it is.
That's how the public perceives things, but I think everybody's entitled to their preference. Like, you get to choose who you spend your time with.
I'm talking about how it is looked at. I'm not talking about what we should be accepting as ourselves. Hell no.
Right. I feel like the narrative there, for a good portion of this section, or I feel like a lot of guys feel that their preferences are you can't like voice your preferences. It's almost like a lot of girls will consider that to be controlling. I was watching another podcast, the H3 podcast. He was interviewing this guy who said that basically he would not be okay with his girlfriend wearing provocative clothing outside, basically. And Ethan is his name, the host of H3 podcast, was telling him that basically he's insecure for wanting his girl not to be dressed provocatively outside. And I was just like, he was like, that's ridiculous, basically. Like, and it's not insecurity to let her know how I feel. This is a boundary for me, basically. Somebody dressed in provocatively, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't saying every woman should dress provocatively, but it's like a woman, like, you can do what, he even said it, she can do what she wants. Like, it's her life, basically. I'm just letting her know that if she's choosing to dress provocatively, I'm choosing to not be with her, basically. It's nothing to do with, like, it's nothing to do with insecurity as opposed to respecting yourself, basically, and setting a boundary there, which you will deal with, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure nobody wants their partner here to be hitting them. That's a common boundary everybody should have, right? But it is a boundary. Some people, unfortunately, let guys and girls, kind of their significant others be putting their hands on them, which is wrong. Some people, again, have open relationships, which is completely up to them. It's not for everybody, basically. But that's your boundary, basically, to allow it to be open like that. Like, I feel like as far as preferences, they can change. Hell, I have a preference against cats. I don't like them.
Oh my God, yo, legit. The one reason why we have so many cat toys is because of that. Seriously, because of that. Legit, David's girl is living through my girlfriend with the toys. She's like, here, because I can't get no cats, so here, these are for you. Legit.
God bless you, brother. No. Let me confirm again, because we had this conversation multiple times. She can get a cat. She's a grown woman. She can do whatever she wants with her life. She just won't be with me at the same time. That's just it. And you can call it insecurity, whatever the case may be, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? She has her own preferences for me, so I can't wear gray sweats outside. It is what it is. Like, you make exceptions. You make she can have, we have dogs. Yeah, I'm fine with dogs, and we talked about other animals, but cats, no, that's the line for me. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What is your issue with cats?
You ready?
Yeah.
My issue with cats, they're too independent.
Too independent.
That makes sense. That's how I felt for a while, and then it's like you get to a point. Like, not gonna lie, after living with them for about a year, I legit understand. Like, they're independent for a reason, and it kind of helps me out because 9 times out of 10, oh, y'all got food? All right, we good. Oh, y'all go outside? All right, cool. Like, I like that because that's what I do with my dogs. I try to let them be able to walk around the house. You want to go use the restroom? Let me know. Other than that, the cats.
Right. What do you mean by they're too independent? Is it because they don't want to chill with you, or what?
He doesn't like that he can't control them.
He can't control them.
That's right.
He can't control them. He can't tell them sit, and they're gonna sit. You can't tell them go into the room.
You ever seen a trained cat? You ever met a trained cat?
My cat's not exactly trained, but my dog will bully my cat if she's doing what she's not supposed to. Because they both know what they're not supposed to do. So my dog will instantly correct her, and if she hears me yell her name, she'll run after her.
Right, but again, that's my preference. Not everybody has to have that preference. That's fine. You can love cats all you want to, knock yourself out. But I won't be in a relationship with somebody who has one. That's just me. Okay.
I mean, I think that's a bit extreme, but I mean,
I think so too.
It is what
it is. I think that's way too extreme, but I mean, it is
what it is. It is what it is. She's making a choice. I'm not forcing her to do anything. It's not insecurities on me. It just is what it is. I got to keep it like that. Let's go. I want to show you guys this conversation that Amanda actually sent me. Somebody commented on a video, right? Or like as a post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. Let me zoom in. Hold on. So I'm gonna read the first part, and then I'm gonna scroll down. So I'm gonna cut this up later, so it don't matter. Let's see. No. There we go. Okay. Amanda sent me this. So can you set this up, Samantha? Where does this come from?
Just somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook. He posted something about if you should want to know about your partner's past or something like that, or if that should just be kept to yourself. Like, why do you need to know it?
This was him commenting?
Yes. So he
Oh,
posted
wow.
it and then he started commenting about it.
Okay, so let me read this. So it says, knowing someone's past, it is only to fulfill your toxic desire to I'm sorry, certain words trigger me. Knowing
Good old
someone's
toxic
past, it is
desire.
only it is only to fulfill your toxic desire to control a situation or perceivably protect yourself from whatever you imagine. Fact of the matter is, you can't. Let me correct that. You really can, but at that point, you might as well live in a box. You should not judge people off their past, whether it's good or bad, because there is no guarantee that they will be the same person to you. Hence the term, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Everyone has a past. Knowing it does nothing positive to your current situation. Again, unless it's a felony act. They then go on to say, I'm going to blurt Amanda's picture out later. This really started as this is the same person commenting?
It's the same person, yes.
Okay. So this really started as a post to help women, in my opinion. For example, you tell a new guy all the negative things that your ex did to you. He may be the exact same person, but because you gave him the blueprint, he's going to try his best not to repeat those things. Then 3 to 4 months down the line, you find out he's exactly the same way as the person you just got out of a situation with this. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I ask about my girlfriend now. I asked her about her past, not necessarily to understand if she was a 304 or anything like that, but I wanted to see.
304? Oh, never mind. I got it.
You're showing your age. Anyways, gotta get with the times. Let's stay with the young guns. Not to see if she was like a 304 or anything. My objective was to see how she talked about her previous situations. One, unless he was your previous situation was a physical and emotional abuser, but mainly unless he's a physical abuser. Emotional abuses, I'm gonna be real, is kind of subjective sometimes. But unless he's a physical abuser, is usually like something. They may have been the majority of the wrong, but I want to see how does she deal with that situation type of thing. You know, if she just talk about him like a dog, or understands that something that not necessarily because of her fault, but something she did that could have helped remedy it. Say if he was that terrible and she decided to stay, why did she stay? Type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That I think is important, and that's not a felony. So I obviously would not agree with this guy. Your past doesn't matter. If he's talking specifically about like body count, I guess he could have just said that. But even that technically does matter. If you've had a lot of bodies and you caught an STD, I'm not going to ask you about that. You know what I'm saying? That's not important. You got kids in the past. Is that not important? Like, you see what I'm saying?
There's specific things that are like you have to at least talk about. Like there are things that have happened, or like you talking about like anything, kids, STD.
Mm-hmm.
You've been abused as a child from your parents. Oh, hold it. Or like, so like right now, overall, like give me a second.
Well, I agree with what Joel's saying. Like, I think you talk about the past to figure out why the person is who they are, why they react to things a certain way, or treat you a certain way or whatever. Like, they might be defensive because of the last person that they were with.
Yes.
But I also agree with that second part where he said that she gave the guy the blueprint, because that has happened to me. I talked about my past and then somebody did the exact same thing to me again a few months later. They were the same person.
Like they're just in a sense like, oh, that's what happened? Okay, cool. Weasel their way in, do what they're doing to pretend that they are the person that you did not deal with in the past, and then come to find out they're exactly what you already dealt with, or they're even worse.
Yep.
Like
I'm gonna take your word for it because I haven't experienced that, obviously. But
That's happened to me.
That's unfortunate. Like this, going through that thought process of like being somebody fake for 3 months, basically. Like that's just
okay.
That's that.
Yeah, it was that narcissistic guy.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna give you the bad one. I think I've already told you about this, David and Rick and Amanda. I was with a girl. The thing is, me and her, we talked about it. The thing is, she asked about my past. I did tell her about me, not to be a damper on anything, but me having a miscarriage with the child. From that point, she used that, in a sense, against me, as I would put it. She was like, "Oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, we have a kid. We have a kid on the way. Blah blah blah." Literally using fake baby pictures, like ultrasounds, to prove to me that she was pregnant because she wanted to keep me there using this toxic thing. I'm happy I figured it out after going through everything, but it was like overall, she did that to keep me there. You serious?
Damn. That's like the most manipulative shit of all time.
That's why you don't stay for a kid. Yeah. I know that's bad to say, but I would never stay for a kid. If the relationship is bad, I'm gone. The kid is better off with 2 happy parents rather than 2 together that are miserable.
That's a conversation for another time.
That's next podcast.
I was just explaining. I've been in that type of situation. That was all it was.
Yeah, so, I get you. I get you, and that's absolutely insane to drum up something like that. And so I guess it's a fine line. I mean, I guess let's think about this. So, certain past is important. At the same time, I guess you don't want to give this person the blueprint to gaslight you or to mislead you in a way. So I guess you got to draw that fine line up. Basically, I mean, you can't just be like a completely closed book. Then it's like all this stuff may eventually come out, and it's like, do I really even know this person? Type of thing. Can I even trust you? That's a whole other thing that comes into the past. If you don't talk about anything about your past, and then people come up to you, oh, hey, remember we did that thing? And it's like, oh, where do they know you from? And you don't talk about it ever. Like, things like that can be a damper. That can kind of bring clouded judgment into your mind, make you a little bit insecure about where you are and then in the relationship type of thing. So, I know myself, I try to be as forthcoming as possible. I mean, I've been lucky, knock on wood, to not encounter anything like Joel or Amanda has said here. And for the most part, and I'm exactly what I portray myself as to whoever I'm with, in this case, my girlfriend now. And I guess that's the best we can hope for. I mean, so if it's any kind of guidelines, let's say like, something you don't share. Let's talk about that. Actually, something you don't share. If you're looking at somebody's past, I mean, we say it matters. Something you wouldn't share now.
I don't think I wouldn't share anything. I mean, I think we talked about this before in another podcast, but I think it's part of getting to know somebody. You just have to know what point in the relationship you're at. If it's serious enough to tell certain things or not.
Okay, that makes sense. Don't tell them about the trauma about your, you being, I don't know, your parents getting divorced. So like you're 2 years old on the first date, maybe that's probably save that for later.
Yeah,
kind of thing, right? Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Okay, all right. Well, that's a good conversation. So guys, let us know in the comments section. What do you think about this? Men's preferences, preference at all? Should they matter? What should matter? Let us know if we got it right or wrong. Again, for We Tech Those, we're out.
Later.